So they said this was kind of the peak of their cultural explosion. They really had hit mainstream. Songs were being written for them by normal singers. So this was a big hit for them. And by this time, they had grown, in 1992, 36 stores. By 2012, they had hit 1,000 shops. So their revenues had gone from something like 60 million to 1.4 billion. So it had gone really, really quickly in a very short period of time, like 10 years. But this was the beginning of the end. So the PR meltdown begins, we say, in 1992. Have you heard about this? Very interesting for Chinese to know about this. They came up with these T-shirts with Chinese people in straw hats and slanty eyes, and slogans like "Two Wongs can make it white." As a Chinese, how do you feel about that? Do you think that's culturally sensitive? No. So in Chinatown in San Francisco, there was protests. Get rid of these shirts. And look at this. They have Walk and Bowl, and they have Buddha Bash, and Pizza Dojo, eat in or walk out. Very racially incorrect, okay? Today we would say politically incorrect. This is 1992. Would any of you buy these? Anybody? No. If you were a Chinese living in America, what would you think of them as a company? Would you boycott them? Very likely, okay? So, in 2004, white is right. What happened? They have a policy of going to fraternity houses to recruit. They don't call them retail clerks, they call them models. And the models had to be white. They didn't hire blacks, they didn't hire Hispanics, they did not hire Chinese. And they even had a book outlining who they could hire and who they wouldn't hire. So they were sued in 2004 for this exclusionary policy. In 2006, the chief executive said, it's almost everything. That's why we hire good-looking people in our stores. Because good-looking people attract other good-looking people. We want to market to cool, good-looking people. We don't market to anyone other than that. That's what he said at the annual meeting. 2009, lame excuse. It went even further than that. This woman in the UK was on the shop floor when they discovered she had a prosthetic leg. They said she can't be a model. They put her to the stock room. And she sued them and got quite a good figure out of that. So, lame excuse. How about this? Again, from 2006, he says, in every school there are the cool and popular kids. And then there are the not so cool kids. So candidly, we go after the cool kids. We go after the attractive all-American kids with a great attitude and a lot of friends. A lot of people don't belong in our clothes, and they can't belong. Are we exclusionary? Absolutely. But having said this, he comes to Hong Kong.
Oh, that's a Chippendale thing.
Yeah.
Better building.
That was a popular.
Wow, I remember 2 years ago, very famous.
That model. My friend is a promoter of this. But Herbert, you promised us no obscenity here.
This is not obscene. This is on YouTube.
Wow. What they are selling?
I don't see Belinda here.
They have some bread.
I don't belong to that.
They have some bread model.
You was there.
You want to wear the wet pants.
So dare I ask, did anybody in this room go to that grand opening? No one wants to admit it now, right? But when you see this, do you think there's cultural sensitivity, or do you feel it's just cultural imperialism? Which one do you feel? Like they're forcing the culture on us? Or do you feel like, oh, they listen to our culture and they adapt? Do you feel any adaptation? No. So, and based on the 1992 incident, what do you think of them and their PR? Is it sucks?
Pretty,
I didn't have to say it, okay?
pretty good.
What? It reaches out, right?
If they've got 1,000 stores.
Yeah. Well, they've had to close 200 this year.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay? So 2013, America's Sweetheart, Taylor Swift, very famous country and western singer, right?
Yeah.
He brought her a T-shirt that said, number of more boyfriends than Taylor Swift on the T-shirt. Because she had a lot of love affairs, Comic-Con, right?
Yeah.
So they made this T-shirt to sort of mock her, right? Within 1 hour of putting up this shirt, they were flooded with tweets. Get rid of that shirt. Get rid of that shirt. And then within a day, the fan club got on the case. They pulled the shirts off the rack. So again, 2013, another disaster. And then now this is really good. I call this the Seville Row. Seville Row route. Because, all these years they said, we're exclusive. You don't, if you don't belong here, you don't fit, you shouldn't buy our clothes. So here was Seville Row saying the same thing. You don't belong here. We are, custom tailors. We don't want you here. So get out of here. And they had things like, give 3-piece a chance. 3-piece suits, right? They didn't want like the casual wear. And they've got one of the prime locations on Seville Road, right in the corner. And but they still opened, I think, 2 months ago, in August or September of this year. Still too much protest. So again, not popular in America, not popular in England. They're losing the market in overseas. Hong Kong, the sales were great. The first 5 days they did $1 million US, but then after that it went, right? Because people will try anything new, but over the long term they lost. So the biggest bomb was, we don't sell anything over size 10 because we only want attractive young ladies in our clothes. So what happened? The response was almost immediate. Take a look at this.
I don't know if you've heard about this. There's a bit of a controversy going on surrounding Abercrombie and Fitch right now. Do you know about this? All right, you probably heard about it if you're a teenager, or if you have a teenager, or if you like to wear your shorts where most of your butt hangs out. The CEO of the company announced that his stores will stop selling clothing for women larger than a size 10. Well, hear him out. He has a really good reason. Because according to him, anyone who's a plus size isn't cool enough to shop in Abercrombie and Fitch. You know what I say to that? Oh, Fitch, please. I don't even know where to begin with this one. I mean, first of all, since when is something over a size 10 a plus size? And second of all, I'm not sure I trust their sizing. Just to give you an idea, this is the largest shirt that they sell for a woman. This is the absolute largest size you can buy there. And here, this is the smallest.
So that was one day after they came up with this statement, okay? It was all over the press. All the comedians, everyone had a field day with this size business. And this is another woman. She's an actress on a TV daytime series. She came up with this dummy ad, and it's A&F, attractive and fat. And the styling is exactly like Abercrombie and Fitch. And again, they had a field day with this. One of the other things that came out of this was someone came up with a campaign to give Abercrombie and Fitch clothes to poor people. So they went to the Salvation Armies and things and bought Abercrombie and Fitch, and then they went to the street and distributed to the street people. So this was quite an interesting thing. But again, they've lost their credibility, they've lost market share. So here's some questions to ask. One, in spite of these blunders, profits soared steadily until the big fiasco. Question we have to ask is, were the PR blunders really blunders? Because they saw their sales going up, and every time they did a blunder, so-called blunder, their sales went up until they did the big one, and then sales went down. So in 2003, the big size blunder sent their share prices to a record low. But until that point, they were making money off these blunders. So should the company rethink its PR strategy? Do you think they can save themselves? Or is it unsavable? What do you think? Can save themselves? Frank?
I think they need to make different blunders, you know.
Yes. Because it almost seemed that it was an exercise in blunder just to make money. You know, the blunder was almost...
They should change the name in the Blunders Limited.
Blunders Limited.
Or
Something like
better
that.
still, Blunders Unlimited.
So, to leave on a positive note about PR, a book I recommend, which I bought way long time ago, Be Ready. Oh, first I want to give you the warning to be ready. PR is something you have to be ready. So we showed you earlier that even a tweet, a personal tweet, can get you in trouble. So we recommend dig the well before you thirst, right? Always be ready, you know, with a well before you thirst, okay? And two books, which is actually one book which are considered classics. This book is called Power and Influence. It's by a guy by the name of Dylan Schneider. Now, Dylan Schneider was the chairman and chief executive officer of Hill and Knowlton. So in this book, he discusses the most famous PR cases ever and how they solved them. This book was brought out in 1996, and you think, oh, you know, he's kind of an old fogey. What value does a book from 1996 have? Smart man. He brought out a new version called Power and Influence. The rules have changed. This is 2008 or 2009, and he includes social media, Facebook, this kind of things in this new book. And it's really fully revised. Quite a good book. Very good read. When you read the case studies in the book, you will really get a lot of insight into what real PR is. So I think I would recommend these. Get a used copy of this or get a new one of this, because you can't get used ones of this yet. But very worthwhile reading. Excellent. Give you a lot of background, a lot of information. And I'm supposed to have that 5-minute question.